Why is Ford losing billions from its electric vehicles? Ford just shared its Q2 2024 earnings, and it's shocking. Their EV sales have taken a major hit, costing them $2.5 billion. What's behind these poor sales? Let's uncover the challenges Ford is facing and what this means for the future of their EV lineup. EV sales skyrocketed by 61% compared to last year, with Ford securing the second spot in the US, right behind Tesla. That's right, Ford even outpaced its long-standing rival GM by selling 23,957 EVs in the second quarter. Every single Ford EV model showed impressive double-digit growth, like a team of champions, where each player is on a winning streak. Can you believe these numbers? The F-150 Lightning saw a big jump in sales, increasing by 77% and selling 7,902 units. The Mustang Mach-E also did great, with sales going up 46.5% and 12,645 units sold. And let's not forget the E-Transit electric van, which is getting more popular with a 95.5% increase in sales, reaching 3,410 units in the second quarter. But hold on, it's not all sunshine and roses. Ford has hit the brakes on some EV initiatives, citing slower than expected demand. They've trimmed F-150 Lightning production, delayed $12 billion in EV spending, and even decided to build more Super Duty trucks at their EV plant in Ontario. But let's not forget that Ford has been selling more cars. In the second quarter, they sold 536,050 vehicles, up just under 1%. And get this, their EV sales surged 61% to 23,957. Led by the Mustang Mach-E. That's impressive, but it's still just 4% of their total sales. Their hybrid sales also jumped 56% to a record 53,822, led by the Maverick midsize truck. Ford made $44.8 billion from selling cars in the second quarter, which is more than expected at 6% higher than before. Overall revenue, including Ford's finance unit, reached a whopping $47.81 billion. Net income was $1.8 billion, or 47 cents per share. Michigan is not too happy with Ford right now, and it's not afraid to show it. The state just slashed Ford's tax incentives by over half. You might be wondering why. Well, it all started when Ford announced they were scaling back their EV and battery production plans in the state. You see, Ford initially had big plans. They were talking about investing $3.5 billion in their EV battery factory in Marshall, creating around 2,500 jobs. But then they decided to cut back, reducing their investment to between $2.5 and $3 billion and dropping the job count to between 1,700 and 2,100. That didn't sit too well with the Michigan Economic Development Corp, MEDC. Why did the MEDC cut Ford's tax incentives? The Michigan Economic Development Corporation cut Ford's tax incentives because Ford did not create enough jobs at the Fort Rouge Electric Vehicle Center. The tax incentives were reduced significantly from $1.03 billion to $409.1 million. The MEDC also took back $772.8 million for a 15-year Renaissance Zone tax break and another $100.8 million in grant money. This was a big blow to Ford, but it happened because they did not meet the job creation goals they had promised. Now, don't get me wrong, Ford did create jobs. They just didn't do it where they said they would. The REVC, where they make the F-150 Lightning, only has around 700 workers. Meanwhile, the Michigan assembly plant got an extra 700 from the REVC and hired another 900 to keep up with the demand for Broncos and Rangers. So while jobs were created, it wasn't in the way Michigan expected. Ford still plans to make those fancy lithium-ion phosphate batteries in Marshall by 2026. Construction's already about 20% done. And let's not forget that Ford's EV sales jumped by 61% in the second quarter of this year. They're the second largest EV seller in the nation, right behind Tesla. So they might be doing something right. Warranty costs took a massive $800 million bite out of Ford's profits. That's a hefty $700 million more than last year, and $800 million more than the first quarter. However, Ford's top brass says these quality issues are mostly in the rear view mirror. CEO Jim Farley is keeping his chin up, pointing to the Ford Plus plan to stay on track and make improvements in vehicle quality. He's chalking up the warranty costs to growing pains, with the future looking brighter. Ford Pro, for instance, is raking in the cash with a 7% increase in EBIT to $2.6 billion. Commercial customers are snapping up Super Duty trucks and transit vans faster than Ford can make them. Is Ford's focus on quality starting to show results? John Lawler thinks so. He says Ford's dedication to quality is paying off. J.D. Power ranked Ford 9th in its 2024 U.S. Initial Quality Study. The Bronco Sport was named the best small SUV, and Lincoln received praise too. Lawler mentions that Ford's quality checks are making a difference, with fewer problems in the first 3 months of service. Ford Blue, the traditional combustion engine side of things, saw wholesales and revenue climb by 3% and 7% respectively. However, EBIT dipped to $1.2 billion, largely due to those pesky warranty costs. Meanwhile, Ford's Pro software subscriptions jumped 35%, and mobile repair orders more than doubled. It's clear that the future is digital, and Ford Pro is leading the charge. Cash-wise, Ford ended the quarter with nearly $27 billion in the bank and about $45 billion in liquidity. Shareholders can look forward to a third quarter dividend of 15 cents per share. Ford Credit chipped in with $343 million in earnings before taxes. Ford's CEO is looking ahead and placing big bets on EVs and software services to make Ford stand out. He's not just focused on commercial outcomes. He wants to transform all parts of Ford, including Ford Blue and Ford Model E. It's a huge task, but Ford is ready for the challenge. In the competitive car market, other companies like Suzuki, BYD, and Honda are also making big moves. They're seeing growth in earnings and sales, with BYD really shining in the EV market. It's a race to the top, and Ford is right in the middle of it, navigating the twists and turns of the EV world. So, do you think Ford can turn things around with their EV strategy? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.